Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. I am going to invite Kanady to join me real quick. Whoops, if I spell her name right. How are you guys doing on this Friday? Another project later today. I've just been doing this morning and okay, she joined. Are you on here, Kanady? Let me see if I can invite you this way or request to join. Okay, I sent you an invite, Kanady. I think I accepted this. I think she's coming. I swear I'm hitting accept. I don't know what's happening. I hit accept. So let me know, Kanady, in the comments or something if it's not going to connect. Oh, she requested it. I'm hitting accept. It says you're unable to join. Great. This is working out seamlessly. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, hi. Okay. So she made it. So hello, everyone. My name is Maggie. This is my friend Kanady Markley. We have been doing the Monat business together. I've done it for 8 years. How many years have you? 6 years. Yeah. So we thought we'd just share a little bit about our stories and how our lives are now before we started the business, and then also just kind of touching on the differences in our stories. Like, I'm a solid 11 years older than Kanady. I'm a mom of 3. I am a hairstylist and multi-entrepreneur. And Kanady, you are a lot younger than me. Yep. She got married. When you guys been married for almost 2 years now? 2 years. They have a dog, Pup. She is an entrepreneur too. We have a lot in common, even though we have a lot of differences too. So I'll let you go ahead, Kanady, and kind of share like how you got introduced to Monat, how you started.
I basically got started because I went to a random salon. I posted on Facebook asking, where can I go get my hair color? Who's the best at blondes? So I went to this random lady in Effingham, didn't know her, didn't know the salon, never had been there. And I'm sitting in her chair, and I'm not kidding you guys. I wish I could like upload a picture of what my hair looked like because it was bad. It was so bad. I think literally it was broken off all the hair, and then in the back there was about 4 hairs, and it was like a mullet without wanting it to be a mullet. I mean, like, I was literally 19 at the time, and so like most of the time people had like beautiful hair. Nope, not me. So I'm sitting in this lady's chair, and I'm like, yeah, it's a little longer in the back than in the front. And immediately she's like, have you ever heard of Monat? And I was like, well, I mean, like, I've heard of it, but not really. And so we talked maybe 5 minutes about it. And at this point, I felt like I had tried everything from every salon product, from every Walmart product, like anything out there that you could get, I had tried. And it ended up underneath my sink because it didn't work. And so I talked to her for maybe 10 minutes. And within those 10 minutes, I literally pulled out my card. Well, backstory. I text my dad. I had an emergency credit card from my parents at the time. I'm like, hey, I'm going to borrow $200. I'm going to pay you back next week when I go pick up some shifts at my serving job. And so he's like, okay, whatever. So I didn't have the money to start. I put it on my dad's credit card, paid him the week after that. I paid him back. And then I literally enrolled as a market partner because she's like, it's the best percentage off of the products that you can get. And so from there on, like, out, like, I literally just the next week I had like a little launch party with my friends, and then the rest was literally history because the products were working. After the first wash, I knew that they were different, and then they just kept performing and performing. And then I just shared my journey of how bad my hair was to what it is now and to what it was then, and just the transformation and what it was doing for my life. But not only that, when I was in college, I was in a dental assisting program that was a year long, and we had to be there at like 7:30, and we didn't get to leave until 4. And so I had a job as a server, and so I would go to school all day long, and then I'd go be a server all night long until like 11 o'clock at night, and then I would get home, do my homework, study all the things, and it was just this endless cycle. And about, I would say, 4 months into my program, I completely quit working altogether, and Monat actually paid me more than what I was making at my job that I was working every single night. And so it was really cool to see that come full circle, and to like only have joined for my hair, but then it was paying my bills, and I wasn't having to work, and I could just focus on my schooling because I had started at such a young age that I can't believe that now it's been 6 years since I joined.
I know. It is crazy because when you joined, I was like, who is this teenager?
Yeah, I'm not sure
that I
time
could
went,
feel like I
but
could be
I've
her
never
parent.
like quit doing it because nothing else out there on the market is like these products. They're the only thing that like worked for me, worked for hundreds of other people. Not only that, but it's an extra income, full-time income for most people. So
Right. And you've done some really amazing things with that income. So like what other opportunities has it given you because
So
you have
when
that
we got married,
income or
which
like
was
the
2 years
flexibility with your
ago, and I was
time?
23 at the time, and my husband was also 23, our wedding, we basically paid for all of it by ourselves. So we were able to do that. I bought a brand new Jaguar when I was 23 years old, and I paid it off in 6 months. When we went on our honeymoon, we bought a very expensive timeshare, and I paid it off that next month completely full, like fully paid for from Monat. So like I know that may sound like, oh, like it's like really big purchases, but like I'm telling you, it would not have been able to become like a reality for me without this, because all of that money that I make, I do work a full-time job, but all of that money that I make from this is literally just like what I spend on my nice things that I like, or going to get my hair colored and stuff like that. And so it has really like financially helped us so much that I don't even know words to put it into. Also, I started a wedding rentals. I do that. It was fully funded from Monat, and I also do an online boutique that is fully funded from Monat as well. So
Become it started out to save your hair, and then it started to be like, oh well, this is actually a lucrative business, and it gave you that freedom to quit your job to continue schooling. And then it's, even though you have a full-time job, it's giving you the opportunity to invest in other things like your wedding business, your boutique, that are also generating an additional income for you. It's paid for a great vacation timeshare with your husband, renovations on your house, a beautiful car. So although you have a full-time job, all of your income that you're making through Monat is basically your guilt-free money, the money that you can spend on the things that you really want, but it's guilt-free. But it's also giving you the opportunity to invest in other endeavors that also generate an income, which is really similar to my story. So that's why I wanted to have Kanady on here, because we have a lot of similar things in the way that our minds think about money and entrepreneurship, and a lot of like goals about those things. But that's what I love about Monat, is like how different we are. Not just, like when I started, it's been 8 years, 28. I think I was 28 years old. And so when Kanady joined and she was 19, I'm like a solid 11 years older than her, and just two very different stages of life. So she started as a 19-year-old in school. I started and I had 3 kids, 5, 3, and a 9-month-old. I was working in my salon 5 days a week. I also was doing wedding and event decorating on the weekends. I was also hand painting signs and flipping furniture for flea markets that were also on the weekend. We had rental property that my husband was constantly having to go in there and make repairs and things like that. And for me, it always felt like we were a paycheck behind a paycheck. Even though I was doing all of these things and trying to make all of them work, none of them were meeting the efforts that I was putting in financially. And so Monat kind of fell into my lap. My sister actually was introduced to the products, and she saw the opportunity for me as a hairstylist and was like, this is a no-brainer. Like, you should really do this business. And so I went from being overworked, underpaid, no time with my kids. Literally every day was a hamster wheel. And if you're in that, or you've ever been in that, you can relate to that feeling of like every day you get your kids off to school or to daycare, you go to work, you come home, you make the dinner, you do the bath time, and you put them to bed. And that's the time that you get with your kids. And I just thought there has to be more than that. Like, this cannot be what our life is. And then on the weekends, it was like, well, I got to take you to grandma's house because I have to go decorate for this wedding or clean up from this wedding, or I have this flea market or whatever. And Kylie would be at the farm. So it was like, we had Sundays, and I just thought, this can't be it. This can't be it. And so when it fell into my lap, I wasn't sure, because I always said I would never do a network marketing thing. Like, I thought it was a pyramid scheme. My sister was in one. I actually unfollowed her on Facebook when I lived in her basement, because I was like, this is all going to crumble. And then I'm going to be like, oh. Like, I knew that was going to happen. But turns out it didn't. It was the complete opposite of that, and has been such a blessing to our family, and has given me the ability to sell those other businesses so I can have more time with my kids. I was able to take my 5 days behind the chair to just 2 days, because I still love doing hair. I still love my clients. And so I didn't want to fully give that up, but it's given me a good work-life balance of being able to be home. It's also just really brought really incredible people into my life that I would have never met without this business. Kanady is one of them. I would have never known her or met her without this business. And she is an incredible woman that I really look up to. Even though she's younger than me, she inspires me with her work ethic and the things that she's doing in her life. I really love watching her life unfold. And I would have never known her without this business. And then just other people in my life who I had really great friends growing up in high school and things, but as you become an adult, you lose that. And so I have this really great group of friends, and they are really incredible encouragement in my life, and they push me when I need pushed, and just really cool opportunities have unfolded. And so we went from being overworked and underpaid to having this freedom in our life to dictate what our lives look like, what our days look like. It gave my husband, who had been doing accounting for 10 years, he used to do videography, and then we had a baby and he needed a job that paid better. And so he was doing accounting, which was completely out of his realm, for 10 years. And because of this business, once I made enough money, enough of my income, we felt comfortable where he could leave that and he could start his own endeavors. And so he's now been a freelance videographer for the last, I think it's going to be 5 years this year. Note the camera equipment behind me, because we are working on a project for one of his clients. And so it's just been really cool to have these other opportunities come up because we said yes to selling shampoo. Like, I guarantee if you ask Kanady, did you ever think that you would have X, Y, and Z? She'd say no. Would you ever think that, you'd be able to invest in a timeshare, or you'd have this wedding rental business or an online boutique or all of these things? She'd be like, no. And I would have said the same thing. I never would have thought that Kylie would have left the job he was at. It was a great job. He worked for family. I would have thought he would have worked there until he retired. And to be able to see him do something that he's passionate about and make an income from it has been one of the biggest blessings. And if Monat went away tomorrow, I couldn't even be upset about it because of the blessings that it's given our family. I never thought he would get to work from home and we would get to spend our days together, and our time as a family would change in the way that it has. And just the many opportunities. And like Kanady, she has a full-time job still, but she does Monat. But it's also helped her create these other businesses that help generate an income. And that's what I like about our story, is that, like, we got to say goodbye to the things that weren't serving us and say yes to the things that were going to make life better for us. And that's why I wanted to share kind of about the two of us today, because there are so many differences, but there's also a lot of things that are alike. And I have a feeling Kanady will agree that through this business, outside of the financial benefits of it and the hair benefits of it, I think both of us can agree that we have grown as people because of the personal development and the mindset and
100%.
all of the things that you
Especially
learn
on
with
like
that.
the mindset. Like, it made me think of this post that I shared the other day, and it was like, if your goals aren't big enough that people laugh at you when you share them with them, they're not big enough. And being young when I started, I was like, oh, like I see Susie doing this and getting this, and it's like, okay, well, am I really ever going to be able to do that? And like, this business has shown me that your mindset is everything, and if you don't think that you can do it, like, you're putting that out there already into the world before like anything even happens. But like, if you think that you can do it and you think that you can achieve those things, like, you can. So like, I have a huge goal, and even my husband laughs at me when I say this, and I'm like, I will drive a G-Wagon one day. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, but I know, because I've worked so hard on like my mindset, my personal development and all this stuff. Like, I know what it's going to take to get there, and I know that I can do it. And I think that the mindset has like been the biggest thing. And coming from like 19 years old, I am a completely different person of who I was then to now. And it really is because of this business, because of what, like, personal development, like, before I was like, personal development who, and now it's like, that's just like an everyday like routine, and like your mindset's in the right spot, and like all of the things.
Mm-hmm. For sure, because I remember when my sister was in her network marketing, and I was living in her basement, and she had these personal development books, and she was like, you should read one. And I remember, so we lived in my sister's basement because her daughter had to have open heart surgery, and they thought she was going to be in the hospital for over a month. And so we moved in to help with the other kids. So I distinctly remember laying in bed that night talking to Kylie and being like, what is happening with my sister that she needs to read a book because she can't get her mind right? Like, what is wrong with her? I thought like I was like, what's going on that she has to read a book to like live her life? But now, like, so if you're a viewer and you're thinking like, what is personal development or whatever, but or that you think you don't need it, but it really does help so much, and helps you understand other people and the emotions they have and how to communicate better. Like, I am 10 times a better wife and a better mom and a better sister and a better daughter because I know how to listen better. I know how to not react whenever I have an emotion, and I know how to have those conversations and really listen. And it's just made me better in the mindset thing. So my oldest daughter is in 8th grade, and she has track sectionals coming up. And last night when we were praying, I said, help her body to get to where she can perform at her best and prepare her for state. And after I said amen, she was like, that was really cute, Mom, that you would say for me to go to state, but that's not going to happen. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It's not going to happen if you think it's not going to happen. But if you work really hard and you can visualize yourself doing that and clearing the 8 foot on your pole vaulting or whatever, like, if you can have the mindset of you can do it, you're going to have more of a chance of doing it than if you go into it thinking there's no way. There's no way, because you've already told your brain, you've already told your body, there's no way, like, just, it's not going to happen. And I could have never done that before this whole learning about mindset and personal development. And so I just think that's a really cool added bonus to great hair, great skin, great income, all of the perks, the trips, the car, all of the things that we get, and then to help us both mentally to be better people. So I just wanted to say thanks, Can, for coming on today and just sharing your story. And what would be your best advice for someone who has been thinking about it, but
I would say to just go
they're just
for
sitting
it.
on the fence.
Coming from
They're just
somebody
not
that literally
sure.
went in with a blindfold on, basically, because I didn't know what the products were. I just wanted to try them for my hair, and then it turned into what it is today. Just do it. You literally have nothing to lose, because worst case scenario, your hair is going to get better because the products are really good. Best case scenario, you're earning trips, you're having personal development, you're making new friends that you didn't think you needed, you're driving a car that's paid for by them, like you're traveling, you have money, like extra money, or it takes over your entire like 9 to 5 job or whatever it is. Like, really, I feel like you can't take a loss when you do it.
Right. Like, that's what I always say is worst case scenario, you have a product pack that you get to use on yourself. Like, everybody shampoos their hair. So worst case scenario, you got, I don't know, a year's worth of shampoo, you know? So thanks again, Can, for coming on here. If you guys have any questions or maybe you're interested, send us a message and we can chat through any questions that you have, share more about the company, because we didn't really touch on the company and all of the incredible things that the company does as a whole, all of that. So if you're interested and you want to learn more about what we've been chatting about, shoot us a message and we can get into it more. But thanks so much, Can, for hopping on, and have a great